This is information to help you with your asylum appeal hearing. You're going to appeal. You've applied for asylum, but your asylum claim has been refused by the Home Office, the government department that decides on asylum claims in the UK. You or your solicitor have appealed against this decision because you think it is wrong, and now your appeal is going to be heard by an independent judge at the first-tier tribunal. The tribunal is completely independent from the Home Office. This is your chance to try and get the Home Office decision changed so that your claim for asylum is allowed. My friends and I have been through the asylum appeals process ourselves. This is the information we wish we had known. We hope it will help you feel more confident about going to the tribunal. We know you'll feel worried about how your appeal will go. You may feel scared, confused, or anxious. This is normal. We hope that knowing what to expect will help to reassure you. Even though an appeal can be very challenging, try to keep a positive attitude. Preparing for your hearing. The most important thing is to prepare for your hearing. There are people who can help you, your solicitor, and a local support group. A solicitor advises you and prepares your case. If you haven't got a solicitor, ask a support group to help you find one or use the Law Society's website. Your solicitor will prepare your witness statement. A witness statement explains any issues raised in your refusal letter or your interview records. Try to contribute to the witness statement to make sure it's accurate. Don't be afraid to correct any mistakes in the statement. Make sure you tell your solicitor everything that has happened to you, even if it's very hard and involves traumatic experiences such as rape, domestic violence, or torture. Ask your solicitor to explain the legal argument to you. If you find it difficult to speak or understand English, you should ask for an interpreter in your own language. The tribunal interpreter only works in the courtroom. Ask your solicitor to inform the tribunal in advance so that they can book an interpreter to attend the hearing and so that you can talk to your barrister outside the courtroom. If you are a woman who can't speak in front of men, maybe because your case involves sexual violence, discuss the option of requesting an all-female court with your solicitor, or put this on your appeal form. The tribunal will decide if this is possible. Before your hearing, reread any witness statements and your reasons for refusal letter. It's really important to think about questions you may be asked in the appeal hearing at the tribunal. In particular, think about the reasons given by the Home Office for refusing your asylum claim. Make sure you know where the tribunal is and the time and date of your hearing. If you live in accommodation provided by the Home Office, you can get a ticket to travel to the tribunal. You must take your notice of hearing to the Asylum Support Office, and they will send you a ticket. Knowing what to expect. It will really help if you know what to expect. Visit the tribunal in advance if possible. Your solicitor or support group may be able to help with this. You may be able to observe an appeal hearing as they are public. If you know anyone who has been to an appeal hearing, talk to them about it. Remember, your appeal is a positive opportunity to be heard by a judge and explain your case. It may overturn the original refusal. On the day of the hearing, make sure you get to the tribunal in time. Although your appeal will be listed for 10 a.m, make sure you arrive before then. Although it may look like the courts you see on TV, the tribunal is not for criminals. At the tribunal, everyone goes through security. You will go through a metal detector and your bags will be searched. This is to make sure everyone is safe. Do not take any sprays and aerosols, perfumes or deodorants, or mirrors as they will be kept by security. Let reception know that you've arrived. You will then wait near your courtroom. The court clerk will come out before 10 a.m. and ask your name. Your barrister represents you in the court. Arriving early may enable you to talk more privately to your barrister. Ask them if there is a private room available. You may have to wait several hours for your hearing, as the order is decided on the day. The tribunal starts cases until 4 p.m. Take food and drink with you, and any medication you might need while you're waiting. You won't be able to eat in the courtroom itself, but there will be water to drink. It's best to keep your mind active so that you are alert when you go into court. We know you'll feel anxious, but try to keep yourself as calm as possible. You can bring friends, family members, or other supporters with you. They can help you feel more confident and relaxed. Be aware that hearings are sometimes adjourned, which means move to a later date. Going into the hearing. You will be called into the hearing by an usher or clerk. In the hearing, there will be you, your barrister if you have one, an immigration judge, a Home Office presenting officer, also known as a HOPO. There may also be an interpreter if you need one. Expert witnesses. Witnesses you know, and members of the public. At the beginning of the hearing. When the judge enters the courtroom, you need to stand up, unless you're not able to do so. The judge should introduce everyone and explain the process of the hearing. The judge is independent. She or he is separate from the government. The judge has a duty to decide your case fairly. If you do not feel comfortable for any reason, let the judge know. Feel free to have a drink of water. During the hearing, your barrister will ask you to adopt your witness statement. This means that you agree with your statement. Your barrister may ask you questions. The HOPO will then test your case by asking you questions. This is called cross-examination. Listen carefully to the questions you are asked. If you don't understand a question, ask for it to be repeated. If you don't know the answer, say, "I don't know," don't guess. Take your time, speak loudly, and give clear, concise answers. If you are using an interpreter, stop regularly for them to translate. If you don't understand the interpreter, or if they interpret something wrongly, you must let your barrister or the judge know straight away. Answer the questions as fully as you can. Sometimes the questions are really hard. If you are speaking about difficult experiences, like being tortured or raped, or harmed by a member of your family in your country, use the exact word for what's happened, even if it is hard to say and makes you feel upset or ashamed. You may have to explain how things are in your country. The HOPO's role is to test your evidence. They may challenge you or suggest that you are lying. If you feel upset or confused by a question, ask the HOPO to repeat the question to give yourself time to think. If the HOPO is aggressive or rude, the judge should stop them. The judge can also ask you questions. This is your only chance to speak directly to the judge, but this doesn't always happen. If you speak to the judge, you call them sir or madam. You don't need to stand up. Judges have very different styles. Some are friendly and some are formal. You should try not to let their style affect what you have to say. If there are witnesses to support your case, they will have to wait in the waiting area until it's their turn to speak. If you don't want a particular witness to hear the rest of your case, tell your barrister or the judge. That witness will then leave after they have given their evidence. Your friends will not be allowed to speak at the hearing unless they are witnesses. Ask your barrister or the judge if you don't understand anything that is happening, or if you need a break or to go to the toilet. After all the evidence has been heard, the HOPO will state why the Home Office has made its decision to refuse you asylum. Your barrister will tell the judge why the refusal is wrong. Your barrister will have the last word. You just get to listen. If you don't have a barrister, you will do this summing up yourself. At the end of the hearing. The hearing can take from 30 minutes to several hours. The tribunal will usually stop for a 1-hour lunch break around 1 p.m. The judge will not normally give you a decision on the day. At the end of the hearing, the judge will tell you when you are likely to receive the decision about your case. If you haven't heard anything within 4 weeks, you should contact your solicitor if you have one, or contact the tribunal. Be prepared. You may find the hearing stressful or intimidating. It's hard to hear your life being discussed. It's hard to be questioned about things that have happened to you. You may feel relieved or satisfied with how the hearing went, or you may feel exhausted or disappointed. It may also feel good to have your say. If you have children, most tribunals do not provide childcare. Some judges will not allow your children to come into the courtroom. Be aware that having children with you at the tribunal can be distracting for everyone. You may also find it difficult to speak about your experiences in front of your children. One option is to arrange for someone to look after your children. Be aware this might be for the whole day. If your children are at school, arrange for a trusted friend or relative to collect them in case you are delayed at the tribunal. Sometimes hearings finish after 5 p.m. If you take your children with you to the tribunal, bring along a family member or friend who can look after them in the waiting area whilst you are in the courtroom. Bring toys or books to keep your children occupied during the day. After the hearing, you or your solicitor will receive the judge's decision. This may take a few weeks because the judge needs to reflect on the evidence and provide detailed reasons for their decision. When you get your decision, contact your solicitor immediately. If you are unsuccessful and you want to change the decision, you will need to apply for permission to appeal to a higher court within strict deadlines. You can only do this if you believe the judge made a serious mistake about the law. You cannot appeal simply because you disagree with the outcome. Be aware that even if you win your appeal, the Home Office might appeal against this. They can only do this if they believe the judge made a serious mistake about the law. Whatever the outcome, you can feel proud that you stood up for yourself.